Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Missable Macbeth Moments. This episode we'll be talking about absolute trust. In this series, I look at small moments of the play that seem like blink and you miss it moments, but actually you start to realise they hold great significance. I'm also going to be linking to wider themes and concepts, and I'm going to make sure that I link to other scenes in the play because I know that in essays this is what gets you extra AO1 marks. The scene I want to focus on today is Act 1, Scene 4, which is a scene where King Duncan finds out that the previous Thane of Cawdor has now been executed for treason. If you remember, the previous Thane, Macdonald, had actually defected to the Norwegian side of the war and had betrayed Duncan at the highest price. Duncan says here that until that moment where he found out he was a traitor, he had trusted that man with his life. He says, "He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. He trusted that man 100%, and he had raised him to good heights such as being a Thane." Notice Shakespeare's purposeful dramatic timing of these lines. At the exact moment that Duncan utters these words, we have the stage direction. Enter Macbeth. Macbeth currently is the Thane of Glamis, and Duncan has just made him the Thane of Cawdor as well. Macbeth is also a man in whom Duncan has absolute trust. But of course we as an audience, and this is where the element of dramatic irony comes into play, we as an audience have just seen Macbeth in Act 1, Scene 3 receive the prophecies from the witches and give his monologue where he's already considering the murder of King Duncan. So of course Duncan, who trusted Macdonald up until the point of treachery, seems to have misplaced his trust in Macbeth as well. If we now link out to the wider themes and other scenes in the play, we can link to the theme of deception. There are several examples in this play of where Macbeth and Lady Macbeth treat people in a certain way, they show them loyalty and honour and love and respect, but of course behind closed doors they are acting in a very different way. This links to quotes such as, "Look like the innocent flower but be the serpent under it." Straight after Duncan praises Macbeth for his valiant efforts during the war, Macbeth replies to him, and he says, "The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your Highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe towards your love and honour." He's saying here that he honours Duncan with all his heart. He would never do anything to harm him or his children or his servants, which of course we know is not true later in the play. So this element of deception comes in here. There are other scenes as well where Macbeth acts as a friend and then betrays someone. For example, his scenes with Banquo. At the beginning of Act 2, Scene 1, he calls Banquo a friend, and of course in Act 3, Scene 2, he promises to Banquo that they're still friends, and he invites him to the feast later that evening in the full knowledge that he's going to have him assassinated before that dinner can even take place. The next thing we can link to is loyalty. Macbeth often feels very conflicted about his loyalty towards Duncan, and he's not sure if he wants to commit that crime or not, right until the point of Act 2, Scene 1, when of course he does it. If we link to context here, the divine right of kings, he believes that Duncan was chosen by God, and he does see the murder as against nature and sacrilegious. For example, in Act 2, Scene 3, when he is explaining why he just killed the guards, he says that it's the expedition of his violent love for Duncan, and he describes Duncan as having silver skin laced with golden blood. If we analyse the language here, we've got the words silver and golden, which of course connote treasure and value. He values Duncan, he sees him as something very prized. And then he says, his gashed stabs look like a breach in nature. So he's admitting here that the crime that's been committed is unnatural, goes against the divine right of kings, goes against primogeniture, and he is regretting his actions. We as the audience know that, which brings in the dramatic irony again. But of course the other characters around him just think that he really was loyal to Duncan and needed to kill those guards. as a form of punishment. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. If you want to subscribe to my channel, there'll be more videos coming out like this, which hopefully will help you with your revision.